3 things you need to know before you pick an eSIM. How it works, what the best one is, and the best deal we could track down is available in the description. That helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. So, the good news is when you travel to the United States, there's a lot of options you can choose from. You're not quite as restricted to areas with dead cell service because there are major carriers in the United States that you can connect to pretty consistently. Here's something you might not know. If you have an iPhone 14 or newer that was sold in the United States, you don't even have a physical SIM tray anymore. Apple completely removed it. So for those devices, eSIMs aren't just convenient, they're the only option. Like all other countries, if cell reception is just bad, there isn't a single eSIM that could really improve upon that. Some might claim to, or at least claim that their competitors don't, but realistically, you're just operating off the existing wireless carriers. You're operating on the 3 major ones, T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T. Those are the networks everyone is piggybacking on. Now, you might be thinking, I already have Verizon or AT&T. Can't I just use their international plan? Sure, you can. But those major US carriers often charge high roaming fees, sometimes as much as $10 per day. If you're traveling for a week or two, that adds up fast. That's the whole point of eSIMs, way cheaper, same networks. So there are a lot of big names in the eSIM space, especially ones that work well for people traveling to the United States. The one that I most consistently come back to is Saily. Some of the reason for that is because on the cheaper plans or the lower data plans, it actually becomes one of the cheapest options on the market. There's a real affordability element to it. We're talking 1 GB US plans starting for as low as $4. There does end up being a little bit of a price increase when you get to some of the upper tier plans, but the best part about just sticking with Saily is that it's really good if you have to make multiple trips. So if you live in Mexico and are popping back and forth to the United States regularly, you don't have to rebuild or start a whole new process over again like other apps make you do. You just end the service you paid for and then restart it easily when you need to use it again, which is really helpful. That's actually one of Saily's biggest advantages, what they call their One eSIM management system. You install a single eSIM profile once, just once, and from that point on, you can top up or add new destinations across 200 plus countries without ever reinstalling. Most other providers make you go through the whole installation process again every time you travel somewhere new. It's annoying. Saily skips that entirely. In terms of actual performance, we're not just talking about affordability here. During our testing in the United States, Saily recorded a top speed of 264 megabits per second, which significantly outpaced a lot of the established rivals we tested. Now, obviously, your speeds will vary depending on where you are and even what time of day it is, but Saily partners with top local carriers like T-Mobile and AT&T to give you high-speed 4G and 5G connectivity wherever those networks are available. The other big case for Saily is that they're actually owned and operated by NordVPN. This does mean that there's some additional security tools built into the platform, such as blocking suspicious links. Unlike most eSIMs that just give you data and call it a day, Saily includes integrated security features like an ad blocker, malicious website protection, and even a virtual location changer. Now, the ad blocker isn't just about making websites look cleaner, it can actually save you up to 28% of your data usage by blocking those heavy ads before they even load. If you're on a smaller data plan, that's a big deal. Plus, it shields you from trackers and malicious URLs, which is especially useful if you're hopping on public Wi-Fi at airports or coffee shops. So depending on how much you're using your phone and your data, there is the additional angle of just extra stuff you get thrown in, which is really helpful. If, for instance, you're trying to ensure a little bit of extra security on a business laptop, or you just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong with your primary device while you're traveling, these features matter. The last thing you want to do is accidentally click on a link that ends up ruining your phone, and now you're stuck in a foreign country without any way to fix the problem. I don't know if that's necessarily a frequent thing that most people would run into, but I just want to point out that compared to all other different eSIM plans that might be at comparable rates, you're just getting a little bit extra with Saily. If you are a heavy user, or if you're a frequent flyer who wants even more perks, Saily offers an Ultra plan. This gives you 30 gigs of high-speed data plus premium access to the entire Nord security suite, including NordVPN and NordPass. It's not cheap, but if you're constantly traveling and need that extra layer of protection across multiple devices, it's worth considering. The other reason we tend to stick with Saily as our recommendation is because, like we said, it is essentially the same company as NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted tech brands you can find in the United States. So I've just heard fewer and fewer instances of people experiencing issues when it comes to Saily. And personally, I can say that the few times I've actually called customer service has always been fine. So there's never really been a reason to call and complain past our initial round of testing. So one thing I do need to mention, Saily is strictly data only. It does not provide a local phone number. So if you need to receive SMS verification codes for certain apps like bike sharing services or ride-hailing apps that require local numbers, this won't work for that. But if you primarily use VoIP apps like WhatsApp, Signal, FaceTime, or Telegram for communication, you're covered. And honestly, that's most people these days. So to sum it all up, if you're traveling to the United States and you want affordable data, solid speeds, built-in security, and the convenience of not having to reinstall an eSIM every time you cross a border, Saily is a really strong choice. It's not perfect for everyone, especially if you need a local phone number, but for most travelers, it checks all the right boxes. If you want to check it out, we've got a link in the description below. You can grab a plan starting at under $4 and be connected as soon as you land. No $10 a day roaming fees, no hassle, just reliable data when you need it.